welcome back. This is going to be episode 4 of Baby Souls. I've got my baby here. I just refer to her as Baby since she's the only one. There's no need to refer to her by her name. But she's going to be helping me play. We're running the dual keyboard setup. So she's got her keyboard, and I've got my keyboard. And one keyboard has more of an ability to input into the game than the other keyboard does. So let's pull up Malman, and let's get it started, and we'll see how long this lasts that Baby wants to play Dark Souls with me. This is her favorite game. We own all of the collectibles that were available on release. We bought them all off eBay. So if you remember where we were at before, one second, let me just check my camera angle. Yep, we're good to go. If you remember where we were at before, we just cleared out the Hide Star of the Flame and Blue Cathedral. Now we're actually going to head back to Things Betwixt. And that's because we have the consumable item to unlock that statue. And we're going to go through the whole area. But there's really no point in going through it at the start of the game, because you're only going to go through half of it, or even less than half of it. So we don't necessarily need to warp back there. We can just run. It's not that much slower. And we're going to be doing two things as we go through this area. One, we are going to be lighting all of these sconces. And then two, we are going to be unlocking this guy. So we use a Fragrant Branch of Yore. And he's just an enemy. Some of the petrified statues are NPCs, but if they look like this, they're just an enemy. So we've got him unlocked. And let's come back and let's light our torch, and we'll start going through. When we light all the sconces, we will get invaded by an NPC. And then the actual mini-boss for the area is through where we unlock that statue. Now there's two consumables we've used so far. One is the Ferrous Lockstone. Those are going to become a dime a dozen. They're not that special later in the game. Fragrant Branch of Yore are. And that's because for every Ferrous Lock and for every petrified statue, there's a one-to-one relationship between places to use them. The difference is, for the Ferrous Lock, there's a ton of useless areas and useless locks that we're not going to mess with. Just the way it is, and then we accumulate lots of those. But for the Fragrant Branch of Yore, they're pretty much all very useful. Every single one, almost every single one, not every single one, but almost every single one has a useful item or area behind it. And so we tend to use those one for one, and we stay low on those for the bulk of the game. So as we make our way through, you'll see me passing some tombstones. I'll read one just as an example. These are tutorials. But they're kind of useless because they give us directions for the PS3, which we don't use. We use keyboard. So there's not too much of a point in looking at any of them if you're not using a PS3 controller. And so this is my baby's favorite game. We play this game more than any other game, but she still doesn't quite have the patience to make it through a lot of areas. So sometimes she poops out, and I just keep going in her stead. And that's how some of her characters have gotten pretty far along in this game. So we've got this nest here, and we can actually drop items in this nest. If we have a small, smooth, and silky stone and a petrified something, we can leave them here. Do not discard. Leave. We leave it here. As we exit out, it's already spawned in the replacement item, and we got a bleed stone in exchange for that item. And they'll take an infinite number, but my understanding is those are the only items that they care about. It's not like Dark Souls Remastered, where you can give them like a ton of different items. Okay, we'll look at one more tutorial. Light sconces with the torch, thank you. And the way it works is typically if you light these in the order as you go through the area, the last one you light, the NPC invader will spawn right in front of you. Come on, baby, help me play. There we go. We're doing good. We're playing Dark Souls 2 together. Daddy and baby. And I'm not hiding my baby's name. Like, my baby's name is Amalia Mercedes. But I just call her baby. And it kind of bugs my wife. Because she thinks I should call her by her name, but I think we should call her by the name baby. That's right, you're helping, baby, you're helping. And if you're watching this video, you know that she didn't like drop on the ground because these are pre-recorded. I would just edit this out. We wouldn't be playing an episode of Baby Souls if in the next 10 minutes this baby like falls on the ground and smacks her head and goes to the hospital. Just throwing that out there. But she plays up here with me quite a bit. And so I'm not really too worried. Like when she was younger, she's 7 months old. When she was younger, she was kind of a squirmy little baby. But she settled down a fair amount. And just the way I sit, I keep her pressed pretty close to the desk, so she don't got that much room to squirm. So here's the area where we unlocked the petrified statue. Enemies in here are a little tougher because it's just assumed that you come back with a slightly higher level. When I first played through this and unlocked this part, I didn't know that the tree right here kicked over. You can actually make this jump right here that you can somewhat hit on the curve and make it over. It's not every time. It's like 1 in 4, even at like the best of times. It doesn't matter. It doesn't get you into this area earlier. But I didn't know, so I was making that jump. So down here is pretty tough. We're going to drop down. There's 3 basilisks, and there's one guy with a bow at the top. And if these basilisks just attack all in unison, they can kill you pretty quick. It's ideal if you can grab one on a jumping attack. And then we can head up. But once again, it's dangerous because it's a small area. There's not many places for us to go to regen our stamina or to heal. We get an Estus Flask shard, and we can head on up. Nope, the mouse is mine. We only have one mouse, and it's mine. I don't trust you yet with the keyboard, let alone the mouse. And we got one more tree to kick over. So, everything in this area is now considered unlocked. And there's our invader right there. And we're gonna drop the torch. Uh-oh. And we do want to heal. Sometimes we can just knock him off. One more swing, there we go. And he's dead. He's been banished. So that's one of the two objectives for this area. The other is we're going to make it back across the slug, and there is a pursuer to fight down here. There's also a little floating coffin down here, which doesn't mean much for the Scholar Edition, but it had some significance for the vanilla version of Dark Souls 2. Now we need to be careful, because as soon as we touch the sandbar, the pursuer will spawn in. But, nope, stick to your keyboard, baby. But, if we leave the sandbar, the pursuer spawns out. So we've got one ogre right there, and we've got one ogre right here. And fighting two ogres at once is pretty tough. They both aggro at the same time. Come on. But there's a cheese you can use. It's fairly well known that you can get one of them to fall off. And even if you can't get it to fall off, the second ogre doesn't like coming across this branch. So, and when he stands up, off he goes. And we got him. Now we can fight this guy at our leisure using the same method that we were using before. Alright, we got behind him. This just became a much easier fight. Oh, he doesn't want to sit down on us. That's fine. We can do this the old-fashioned way. Alright, we got two dead ogres. We got enough health to go fight a pursuer. Pursuers as mini-bosses tend to spawn out of the ground. So if you know their spawn point, and you stay kind of close to it, you can get 3-4 hits in for free. Nope, baby. You're using the wrong keyboard, baby. I can't jump if you're jumping too. So stick to your keyboard, I'll stick to my keyboard. And you'll notice this pursuer's eyes are glowing. Okay, I gotta move my keyboard just a little further out of reach. This pursuer's eyes are glowing. It's already powered up. If the previous pursuer had got us with the grab attack, it would look like this. And now it has a magic hex attack that it can use. And I think this guy has a little more health too. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so here's the magic attack. You can exploit this. Just get behind him, and you can attack away at him while he does that attack. And for the mini-bosses, pursuers, they drop a Twinkling Titanite, which is how you're going to upgrade a lot of the Titanite weapons. So for this device right here, if we were to enter it, we will come back as a chick. And then we enter a second time, and we come back as a dude again. In the original vanilla Dark Souls 2. So now we're a chick. And we will confirm. We're a chick. But let's put our Mowlin armor set back on. In the original Dark Souls, you could only start as a dude. And then if you wanted to be a chick, you had to make it this far into the level. And, I don't know, kind of a dumb decision. Like, Dark Souls 2 doesn't have many dumb decisions, but that's one of them. And so in the Scholar Edition, they changed it. And now, we have cleared out this level, and we are done with things betwixt. The only reason to come back is to meet with the old ladies if we want to reconfigure our stats, which I don't think we're going to do. My baby likes that. She also likes to get kissed by the dogs, but the dogs are sleeping right now. But that's one of her favorite things in the world, is to be licked in the face by the dogs. And I'm surprised we've made it this far already, because she is a smelly little baby. Like, her diaper needs to be changed. And Mom's not going to be back for, like, an hour plus. So I'm probably going to have to change this diaper. But as long as she's cool, like, we're playing Dark Souls, too. That's right, baby. Use your words. Don't just garble nonsense. Use your words. Let's see if we have any souls. We have one soul. Like, not many souls.
Is that a shard? Here, to see.
Let's level up to a Estus Flask with 5 heals. And let's try to get leveled up enough that we can use our Dranglaic sword. Okay, so now we've upgraded to the point where we can use it two-handed. The next area we're going to requires a torch. So we're still going to be using, for the most part, our fire longsword, but for the boss we'll be able to use the Dranglaic sword. So the Dranglaic sword upgrades with Twinkling Titanite. We only have one. The problem with Dark Souls 2 is weapons and armor that upgrade with Twinkling Titanite or Petrified Dragon Bones, and that's going to be like boss weapons and armor. There's not much of that to go around. So if you're going to upgrade, let's say we want to fight with this dagger. Titanite shard, like, we're going to get plenty of shards, large shards, and chunks to get this up to +9. And there's quite a few slabs in here too. So we can get multiple weapons that upgrade with regular Titanite up to +10. With Twinkling Titanite and with boss weapons, the max that they can do is +5. But because there's so little of it to go around, you really need to be careful with it. If you decide you want a Twinkling Titanite weapon, and then you want Twinkling Titanite armor, one of the two of those is not getting upgraded very far. Like, not very far at all.
I'll be around if you make it better.
Now, you can buy this at the end of the game. So, I mean, maybe if you're going to complete the game and do the DLCs, it's more useful. But it's just progressing through the game, it's not very useful. So, be careful what you upgrade that requires Twinkling Titanite, because not much of it's coming throughout the game. Let's head back to Heights Tower Flame. And there's a path there that we ignored last time, but this time we're going to use. So we got this jerk face over here. We're going to leave her alone. She's got it coming, but just not quite yet. And let's head over here. We've got this monastery charm. and this little tunnel area, I think it's called Hyde's Unseen Path. I don't know if it populates with that, or if it's just the name of the bonfire. So I would just like to compliment Drangleic on their ability to keep this whole area water free, because this is 100% below the water line and there is not a leak in here. Like when they designed this game, they knew what to do to make sure that the water didn't get in here. They used a lot of rubber, they caulked up everything, they did it right. Like this is what you want to see when you're in a medieval dungeon underneath the water line. So we got one of these guys. And you'll notice I don't use lock-on in this game. When we find another enemy, I'll do a lock-on just to so you see it. Lock-on carries a pretty significant debuff. Like, there's some use to it in that typically your weapons strike the target, you don't miss very much, and as you walk around, you stay facing the enemy. The debuff is there's no more running, there's no more like rolling in too many angles away. Pretty much you can roll directly away, or you can roll in circles around the enemy, and then your stamina actually regens quite a bit slower. Baby's slipping a bit, we gotta keep you upright. Yeah, the Dark Souls 2 collectibles that we bought off eBay, these are our favorite toys. Okay, now we're getting into a little bit of water, getting a little disappointed, but we gotta be like 100 feet under the water. I'm trying to remember the button for lock on. Alright, I don't even know what the button is for lock on. But just understand, lock on comes with some pretty significant debuffs. And sometimes if you're facing the wrong way and you lock on, when you attack, you're going to still face the wrong way. So, we don't need to go down there. Those enemies are easy to fight. Behind that petrified statue is going to be an Estus Flash Shard. It's good to come back to, but we don't have one. I don't believe we have one yet. So there's no point in going down there trying to activate it. We do not. Oh. Baby. Nope. A restless baby gets your diaper changed because you smell extremely bad right now. So do you want to be a restless baby, or do you want to be a good baby? Do you want to be a good baby, or do you want to be a bad baby? Oh, she smells bad. Like, we're going to do a cut, because she's really smelling bad. I'll be back. It's Daddy's headphones. You don't get headphones. Scoot in closer. Okay, we're back. That was a lot of wipes, but we made it through. So now we are in the Pirate Town area of the game, which is going to be No Man's Wharf. This is an area with a lot of enemies. Like, a whole lot of enemies. Now we're going the wrong way. And as we go through this area, we are going to be lighting the torches as we go. They provide light. The light's not like super important for me, but if you're new to the area, yeah, they are pretty useful. And there's also some enemies near the midpoint of this area that are scared of the torch, and so kind of difficult to fight, but with the torch a lot of them don't even aggro. Baby. Nope, a good baby plays the game. A bad baby spins back around towards daddy. Let's get you a little bit closer, a little bit less room to twist in my lap. And you don't really need to light every torch, like I do, just because I've got the torch there. And I'm in no way, shape, or form limited on how much torch time I've got. I've got like 15 minutes of torch time. But you can run through, you can light one torch, run through, clear a bunch of enemies if you want to use a shield or you want to use a two-hand weapon. And then you can go back and light some torches. Or you can just light a couple key torches as you go through the game. See if there's an enemy right there that'll aggro as we run by. A lot of enemies in this level. And you do want to be careful because most of the planks that we walk on we can roll off on and die. A lot of insta-death areas in this game. I hope a good baby plays on her keyboard. A good baby plays on her keyboard. So if we come down for this, if I were to roll in the water, it would extinguish our torch. We would need to make it back to a sconce or the bonfire to light our torch. So here we got a little gank squad coming through. And we can light a torch. And the way this level works is we are going to be working our way up. And there's a bell that we need to ring at the very end. Technically, we could ring the bell with a bow and arrow, but then we need to unlock a shortcut to get to the other side either way. So, nope, we're going to roll away. Alright, we didn't roll away. We got caught somehow, and we died. This happens a lot. So now that we've already got some torches lit, there's not really a need to approach this with the torch in hand again, because we can just go to the last torch we lit and start over again. Torches are, not torches, sconces are permalit. When I played through this level the first time, I despawned basically every enemy in the first half of this level. That's how many times I went through it to actually make it through. And the level does become easier as you go through. Because, let's say I'm only fighting half of these enemies. Well, I'm not wasting Estus flasks. And I'm not wasting life gems on the enemies I no longer need to fight. Baby. Nope, a bad baby twists in daddy's lap. You a good baby or a bad baby? So this is dangerous. We need to get out of here. Alright, and we didn't get out of there. We got trapped. And Baby Souls is quite a bit harder than just regular Dark Souls, because I am trying to balance her. Alright, baby, let's buckle down. We need to do this. Oh, let's consume a human effigy as well to get our human-like appearance back. Technically, if we wanted the last little bit of health we could rest at the bonfire, it's just not that big of a deal. Alright, we can do this, baby. Now, if you notice, a summon appeared, NPC summon. He is going to come down, he's going to help us fight enemies for a time. But he is not going to stick around with us until the boss. He will despawn after defeating a certain number of enemies. I think that's the guy who fell down from there. No, baby. A bad baby cries during Dark Souls 2 time. A good baby plays with her keyboard. Stand you up, scoot you in. You can play with your keyboard. Let's go get our souls. And we'll just not go into that little trap right there. Let's go kill this one enemy right here. Technically, these enemies, I believe, are called prisoners, and they look it. The lore of this area is when the undead curse was taking hold, all the undead were rounded up and shipped off on that ship to the Lost Bastille, which we've already been to the Lost Bastille. And so that was like the collection point for the undead, but then eventually everyone just turned undead anyway, so it didn't matter. Okay, so now that we've progressed past the point of our last torch, we'll relight the torch. And we'll head back in with our one-hand weapon. Baby. If you're a good baby, you'll get yogurt bites. So this area right here was more significant in Dark Souls Vanilla. It used to be that once you unlocked a shortcut on the other side of this area, you didn't have to climb all the way to the top and bottom. In Scholar, they made a much quicker shortcut. So this area technically has 2 shortcuts. Baby. Let's talk to the NPC.
I don't know things.
Blah, 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 blah. She's Lucatiel. People like her. She's supposed to be like the Solaire of this game, but she's not nearly as good as Solaire. The way NPCs work in this game is a lot of times it's like, don't talk to me, I don't like you. Okay, you talk to me one more time, let me tell you my whole life story. If we summon her for bosses, then she'll be our friend and we can complete her quest line. If we don't summon her for bosses, she eventually invades us, and we have to take her out, and then she just disappears from the game. Okay, let's lift baby up a bit. You're leaning back a bit too far in my lap, making me slightly nervous. Baby. So we'll clear this area, even though we don't technically need to. This is entirely optional now that there is... Baby. A good baby doesn't cry. Baby! And we can light this up. We'll take a little damage, but any dogs that wander in will take far more damage than us. And we can use this to somewhat control the dogs. There we go. Got some dogs down. Need to heal. Okay. Why we didn't heal, I don't know. We had the animation. We had our Estus flask equipped. We just didn't heal. And that's predictable in real life. Like IRL, if you need to heal, sometimes you just miss your Estus flask. Uh-oh. We're on fire. Definitely need to get in here and heal. We're going to do a double heal. So, kind of a costly area to go through. A lot of people skip it. There's an item that you can drop down to from a roof if you come out here. There's nothing really that important in this area, though. And we've lost our torch somehow. Don't ask me why. We'll go relight our torch. Did he drop down? Yeah, he dropped down. So this is where the original shortcut was. That if we went all the way to the top, rang the bell, and came halfway back down, we have the shortcut to get back to the other side. Let's go kill that archer. Nah, that's a decent fall. We'll go through the building back down. So for this Ferrous Lockstone, we're going to say no. What this would do is drop a giant light throughout this entire area and would no longer need a torch. But we're not going to do that. We're going to save our Ferrous Lockstone. At this point in the game, Ferrous Lockstones are still somewhat important. You know, if this area was later in the game and I've got like 12 Ferrous Lockstones in my inventory, then it would be a different consideration. So, still more enemies. Like I said, this area has a ton of enemies. Okay. So we go up these stairs and we start fighting the enemies. that are actually going to give us trouble. But they don't like the torch. Like, the whole point of the torch is to keep these guys away. If they do this and they block their face, they do not aggro. If they don't block their face, they 100% will aggro. And it's basically which enemy, which spawn location determines if they aggro or not. And then some of them flip out. And if you see one flipping out and banging the ground, it is going to aggro when it finishes that flip out phase. Let's just kill this guy right here before we head in there, just so he doesn't, by chance, come in behind us. In here, there's going to be a couple of chests. Really good weapon. And we're actually going to use a repair powder. We're getting pretty low on our weapon health. Repair powder's kind of scarce this early in the game. Later in the game, you can just buy them in an unlimited amount from the merchant. Okay, so you notice this guy doesn't cover his face. Neither of these guys cover their face. So they are 100% going to aggro on us. And we're going to stretch them out a bit. And these guys will bleed you. You got to be careful. 2 hits in this armor, they will bleed you. Alright, that guy's on his leash. So he's heading back. We're just getting too close to that ledge. You do not want to fall off. We're just going to leave that guy there. Alright, we get 2 chests. One of these is a trap. Poison trap. Jump away and we're fine. And then this one, we get the Great Sword. Tons of people use this weapon. I beat this game with this weapon. Awesome weapon. We're not going to use it for this game, though. And then we're almost to the top. And then we just need to head back down. Only got a couple enemies left to get to the top. I mean, mind you, getting to the top is not that important. Let's say we get to the top, we ring the bell. If we don't unlock a shortcut, it doesn't really matter. We're coming all the way back up. Baby! Baby, who's playing your favorite game? Who's playing Dark Souls 2? Yeah. Who's playing Dark Souls 2? Baby. Who's got her keyboard to help Daddy play Dark Souls 2? Alright, I think your patience is running pretty close to the end. We'll ring the bell, and then Baby may have to go for a nap. Baby. There's a whole area down there, all the way up. That right there is a giant torch that gets lit if we were to use the Ferrous Lockstone. Here's the bell. Let's ring the bell. And you can see the ship pull into the harbor. We still have no access to the ship, though. So here's another IQ 105 moment from the devs. They give us a homeward bone. So the first time I played through this, I figure, homeward bones to get me back down to the bottom. When the ship pulls in, We have the ability to access ship. You do not. You still need to continue down. Ignore that homeward bone. Like 110% ignore that homeward bone. We got these bad boys down here. There's no items, so we're just going to avoid them. No need to fight them. We've already fought like 80 different enemies. Just jump down here and get behind this guy. This guy can get you. Like, that guy is a little tough. So, some people don't like Pirate Town. I'm cool with it. Like, I think this is a good level. It's not that confusing. It's up takes you one way, down takes you the other way. But there are just a lot of enemies here. Alright, so we did get bleed. Okay. There's an item in here we want. Right back in there in that chest. It's another fragrant branch of yore. So in this game, after you get past the starting areas, there's 4 main bosses that you need to fight. The 4 old ones. Dark Souls Remastered kind of ripped off the concept too. Every area that leads to one of the bosses will give you a fragrant branch of yore, because one of the areas is locked by... Where'd that guy go? Okay, we'll just ignore him. He won't be back. One of the areas is actually locked by a petrified statue. So they don't want you, and when I say they, the devs don't want you to lock yourself out of the game. So you're always getting more and more fragrant branches of yore. And then ideally, let's say we want to go to that area, but we don't have a fragrant branch of yore, we go to the next area, and that's what we get. This guy's name is Galvin. You can actually sell him all your equipment that you're not going to use, so let's sell him a dagger. But we could really sell him anything. Like even stuff we don't want to sell him, like our rings.
Many deal, many thanks.
We'll unlock the first shortcut. Just in case we die, we've massively decreased how long it takes to get back down to where we need to go. And in Dark Souls Vanilla, if you died on the boss run, yeah, you're going all the way back up there. Okay, so that guy's not going to aggro. This guy looks like he is going to aggro. Nope, he's not going to aggro. Wait, yes, he is. He's the one who slams on the ground and then aggros. Okay, so we're at the boat right here. But we're going to unlock the shorter of the 2 shortcuts. Do I really worry about fighting the boss, Flexile Sentry? No. But for the purpose of the walkthrough, we'll unlock the shortcut. I actually did struggle with Flexile Sentry quite a bit the first time I played this game. Well, not the first time. I want to say like the 3rd or 4th time I played this game. The first time I actually started learning this game and started beating bosses in this game, I struggled quite a bit. I needed a summon. I summoned some other player to beat him. Nowadays, he's not that hard at all. So here is the shortcut. So there's no need for us to go anywhere near the top of this level again. Man, we've got an NPC summon. It's Lucatiel. Once again, if you want, Lucatiel, to complete her questline, you need to summon her to fight bosses. If you don't summon her, I think it's twice, then she will invade you, and you have to fight her at a certain point in the game, then she'll just disappear from the game. And then we've got one NPC over here. He's just going to insult us. He is the magician.
I see light. I am Carillion, and I've no interest in the magic impaired.
Yeah, that's kind of rude. But if we approach him, if we have more intelligence, he will actually relocate to Majula and teach us magic. So let's go back and rest really quick, and then we will go fight the boss. And since we're no longer needing the torch, we can switch over to our new main weapon that we couldn't wield yet one-handed. Uh-oh. Someone's getting a bit tired. Getting a bit tired. Play some Dark Souls 2 and you won't get tired. Come on, baby. We can make it to the boss. We've done this before. And this is an area that we can't just do the run past. There's enough distractions at the boat to where we're probably not going to get caught in the fog wall with all these enemies that are going to be following us that we aggro. And enemies in Dark Souls 2 will follow for a very long time. Baby! Baby, who's going to help me fight Flexile Sentry? A good baby helps daddy fight Flexile Sentry. A bad baby goes to sleep. We're going to run past these enemies too. Screw them. Baby. Alright. Alright, you're going to help me fight Flexile Sentry, and then we're going to put you into the bed for a nap. So this guy, he's got 2 upper bodies. It's easier to fight the mace side than it is to fight the sword side. And then as we fight him, the water will slowly rise. Right now we're pretty much at full movement speed, if not at full movement speed. But if we were to take a long time to fight this boss, then we would have encumbered movement speed based on the water. I think we got him right here. There we go. Good job, baby. Good job. Good job. Alright. Now, because I aggroed a whole bunch of enemies, I do need to get out of here. And then we'll put my baby to sleep. You don't want to die after the boss. Okay. It's time for baby to go to bed. Say bye, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Mm-hmm. And I'm back. Baby is in her bed sleeping with her toys. With her Dark Souls 2 collectible figurine toy. Okay, so we got a Pyromancy Flame. I don't do Pyromancy in this game. Pyromancy is the same as they made it in Dark Souls Remastered. It's not based off faith. It's not based off intelligence. All you need to upgrade is attunement and the flame itself. Now we're going to head on this boat, and we're getting out of here, and we're going back to the Lost Bastille. I want to say, so right now we've completed 4 areas. I want to say we are done with the early game, and we are moving on into the mid game. We've completed Forest of the Fallen Giants. Then we went to Highest Tower Flame. We cleared out Things Betwixt, and we just finished the No Man's Wharf. At this point in the game, we've gotten a lot of levels, and we're going to be making our way to fight each of the 4 old ones. So we made our way over to No Man's Wharf from Force of the Fallen Giants by riding the bird. And now we've gone here from No Man's Wharf. Both places start us on the lower level, and both places give us the ability to fight our way to the top. It doesn't matter really which way you go. And both of these paths through the Lost Bastille, they will link up eventually. Let's go get here one item. It's not important, but we're still going to get it. And in Dark Souls, this is a very common thing of riding an elevator down in a slightly different fashion, or activating an elevator to go one direction and then waiting. And when the elevator is done, you can use it to go a different direction. This is how they hide areas sometimes. I want to credit Yui Tanamura with this idea right here, and it's spread off to the other Souls games. Look how beautiful Maulin is. Like nobody in Majula, let me face this way, nobody in Majula knows what happened. They all think we're him. And if at any point in time they change their minds, they may aggro on us. Like, we gotta be careful about that. Alright, we're back in the Lost Bastille. We gotta check every single cage, because that's important. Because that's how Dark Souls games work, is you check every single cage. And we found a bonfire. Let's head back to Majula and let's level up. Oh, also really quick, really important. One item that we got as we were running around was a Sublime Bone Dust right here. This allows us to upgrade to an Estus Flask +1. There's 5 in this game. The only place we can upgrade this is the Majula Bonfire, and we burn it. Now, each of our heals from the Estus Flask replenishes more health. For the Sublime Bone Dust, we'll get one of those for each of the paths we go out in the mid-game, and then we'll get one at Drangleic Castle, really the end of the mid-game. Hold up. Let's see if we have any souls. We gotta have some souls after going through No Man's Wharf. And we're starting to accumulate these boss souls. Now we could continue working towards 25 strength, but the next area that we need a torch is pretty far off, so there's no need for us to dump into strength right now. We're going to dump more into vigor and max out our health. And what's nice about wearing Maulin's armor set is this light armor, we don't need all that much weight load. And then swinging a medium-sized sword, we don't need a ton of stamina. So we can dump all our points into adaptability and vigor. And we'll buy some life gems with all the souls that we can't convert into levels. Okay, so we are heading out to the Lost Bastille, and we're actually going to go to where we started at the first time that we skipped. Now we're going to be clearing this area both ways all the way to the top. Let me check on the time. Yeah, we're going to finish off this episode, and we'll pick up back up with episode 5 in a little bit. Thanks for watching.